Hello, today is September 22nd. We're going to go down here. Reminder, there's extra credit here. You're going to scroll down and click on September 22nd. This video will be posted in the middle of the page. You have another opportunity to take attendance here. And then you'll have a joke of the day, quote of the day. Here's your assignment. Let's take a look at your lesson for today.
We're going to continue working on problems that have distributive property today. So if we look at problem number 1, the first thing that we're going to do is distribute. Now, distribute is just simplifying the problem. It's not solving it. So the reason you got to do this is so that you can make the problem become a two-step problem. So we're going to do 8 times negative 7 and 8 times negative 4. So 8 times negative 7 is negative 56. 8 times negative 4 is negative 32. The x comes with it. It's still equal to negative 152. The second step that we're going to do is called the inverse of subtraction. We want to get rid of this negative 56 right here. And so to get rid of negative 56, you're going to add 56. Remember, the word inverse means to do the opposite. And so what ends up happening is the 56 cancels. Negative 32x drops down. Equal sign drops down. Negative 152 plus 56. You can use Desmos scientific calculator, but it is negative 96. And we'll double check that just to make sure. So negative 152 minus 56. Negative 152 plus 56. I said minus a second ago. Negative 96. And so then our next step, and our last and final step, is to do the inverse of multiplication. So you should have caught on to a pattern between yesterday and today. And so the pattern is actually pretty easy. So these are going to cancel. X goes here. Equal sign drops down. Negative 96 divided by negative 32 is going to be positive 3. And you can use Desmos to check your answer. Now, the pattern that I was just talking about that you should have noticed is your always first step for these problems that look like this is going to use distributive property. Your last step is always going to be to do the inverse of multiplication. The only one that changes is this inverse of subtraction. Sometimes that's inverse of division. If the number is positive or it says plus, then you're going to do the inverse of addition. So the only one that changes actually is this one here. The other two steps are exactly the same. So moving on to the next problem, we're going to look at 3 times 3 and 3 times negative 7. So the first step is to do the inverse, the first step is to do distributive property. Or to distribute. So 3 times 3 is 9. N comes down. 3 times negative 7 is negative 21. Negative 84 comes down. The second step is to do the inverse of subtraction. So minus 21 becomes, you want to change it to plus 21 so we can get rid of it. What you do on one side, you have to do on the other side. 9n comes down. The 21s cancel. Equal sign comes down. Negative 84 plus 21 is negative 63. And then our last and final step is to do the inverse of multiplication. I'm going to divide by 9. Remember, inverse means the opposite. The 9s cancel. N drops down. Negative 63 divided by 9 is negative 7. you would just enter -7 if that was your answer. And then our last and final problem that we're going to look at is this problem here. You're going to do 8 times r, 8 times 5, and that's called distributive property. And so 8 times r I can't do, but there's actually a 1 there. Whenever it's just a letter, there's always a 1 in front of it. So 8 times 1 is 8, and then r comes with it. 8 times 5 is 40, still equal to 88. Let's make our r look a little better here. And so the second step would be to do the inverse of addition. See how this time it changed? The reason it changed is because of this plus sign. So we're going to do -40 on both sides. That should have been 88. -40 on both sides of the equal sign. And so 8r drops down. 40's cancel. And then 88 minus 40 is 48. Third and final step is to do the inverse of multiplication. We're going to divide both sides by 8. R is now equal to, because the 8's cancel, 48 divided by 8 is 6. You would just enter in 6 on canvas.